The Democrats prefer to spend their time pushing worthless DEI programs on us. They segregate Chicago students and teachers by race. They impose racial sensitivity training upon us. What they're telling us is that racial diversity matters more than reading. Hello, America. I'm Pastor Corey Brooks. From the south side of Chicago to the nation's capital, this is Rooftop Revelations. Many of you know me as the Rooftop Pastor. I recently spent 343 days living on top of a roof through Chicago's cold and heat to bring awareness to the violence and to raise money for this much-needed community center that you see being built behind me. And because of the many donations from Americans just like yourself, we are raising the needed funds for this glorious leadership and economic community center. We aim nothing less than the full transformation of Chicago's most violent block, O Block, into Opportunity Block. Here we discuss issues, local to national, from the streets to the Capitol. For you who have been on the journey with us, welcome back. And if this is your first time watching Rooftop Revelations, we're glad you're joining us for this latest edition of Rooftop Revelations. Democrats run my neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. Nearly every elected official I shake hands with belongs to the Democratic Party. Just down the road from where I pastor, Democrats are building this massive Barack Obama Presidential Center. Democrats from all over America will flood into Chicago this August for the Democratic National Convention. Every single one of these Democrats prides themselves on being on the side of the good. It's their bread and butter. It's what they advertise. They come into my impoverished, violent, but at the same time a proud working class neighborhood, and they tell us, I stand with the blacks, the minorities, the women, the impoverished, the marginalized, and so on. If they stand with us, then why are so many of our kids failing to learn how to read? Reading is everything. It's the most important thing a child can learn and develop over his or her scholastic career. Reading is what opens the doors and creates opportunities. Reading is knowledge, and that's what fills empty souls with purpose and brings them to life. Why then is reading not even a priority for the Democrats in my city? I don't know the full agenda of the Democratic National Convention, but I'm willing to bet that not one speaker or agenda item will focus on the reading illiteracy crisis facing my community as well as many others across America. One of the worst schools, high schools in America, is just down the road from the Obama Presidential Center, Hyde Park Academy High School. According to the WirePoint's website, only 2% of the students were proficient in reading in 2023. That is 2 out of 100 students. That means 98 students, if we can even call them students, will age out of the public school system without one of humanity's most basic survival skills, reading. I blame the parents too. And 100%, they are not parenting if their kids cannot read. I'm sorry, but no one deserves the parent title if their kids cannot read. You may think what I said is cruel, and maybe it is, but you know what's crueler? 98 kids out of 100 who cannot read. What makes this a tragedy all the more farcical is that 82% of the kids at Hyde Park Academy High School will graduate. That's right, only 2% can read at grade level, and yet 82% will graduate. It makes you wonder how bad the other 18% of the kids were that could not even meet such a low bar. Actually, I don't have to wonder because I deal with them every day. Most of them end up in prison or dead on the streets. The Democrats, the self-proclaimed carriers of our society, have done nothing about this problem. At this point, you have to think it's neglect. It's intentional. They're not living on Mars. They know these numbers. They run the Chicago Teachers Union. If this neglect is not intentional, then it must be at least criminal. It's criminal because the Democrats prefer to spend their time pushing worthless DEI programs on us. They segregate Chicago students and teachers by race. They impose racial sensitivity training upon us. What they're telling us is that racial diversity matters more than reading. That is why I left the Democratic Party years ago. I came out in favor of a Republican running for governor in Illinois, and I lost half of my congregation. I received death threats and my family had to go into hiding. But I found myself free. I was no longer bound by the Democratic policies that made us feel good while sucking our personal agency dry. This gave me the freedom to address the ills within my neighborhood. After a long journey, I am more than halfway through building a massive leadership and economic opportunity center across the street from my church that you see right behind me. Once built, our #1 priority will be to teach kids how to read. We will teach the parents too if needed. It's not a difficult skill to learn, and that is the tragedy here. It takes time and patience. It also takes true empathy to teach a child to read and to dream of a better future, a skill that the Democrats in my city desperately lack. This has been a Rooftop Revelation, and I thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.